What's up, guys? Today we are back on the 55 Buick.
All my bones are dislocated, I just keep on wandering along. Got this four-leaf clover, and since then I have been everything you want. Everything gone clean, everyone we try to mess up. Close the gate and buckle up.
What's up, guys? Today we are back on Project Living Dead Girl, aka Ded Betty, our 1955 Buick Special. So today the plan is to take the inner fender wells, inner fender wells, the parts that go inside the engine bay on the inside of the fenders, inner fenders. Today we're going to take the inner fenders and we're going to clean those up. So if you recall from a previous video, I'll link it up below. I'll link it up above here. What we did was we took the inner fenders and we chopped them all up so that we could fit the radiator out of the 2003 Yukon Denali that we took the engine and transmission out of. So we could fit that in the 55 Buick. That was successful. However, we cut a lot of those inner fenders out and a lot of the structure out. And we need to box those back in and make them look pretty. So that way we can put them back in the engine bay. So here you can see we've mounted the radiator in here, semi-permanently. And you can see the other side inner fender here where we've had to cut it all apart. The goal is to box that back in because where our wheel sits, you get a nice clean shot of the radiator there, and we don't want to damage that while we are driving around. So the plan is to box this back in up here to protect that radiator and those hoses. Unfortunately, this is just going to be where it is. It will probably have to be trimmed back though, so the control arm doesn't hit it when it's moving around. So that is the goal for today. And as you can see, we already got started on this side. Big thing that we had to do was get all of this coating off of the fender inside and out. You can still, I still got some to do here. And the best way I found to do that was with a air chisel. So we took this and went all the way throughout the inner fender underneath, clean all that up, so we could remove any unwanted hardware and figure out where we needed to weld and cut to clean this up. So in the name of budget, and not having to go buy a whole nother sheet of sheet metal, I like to keep all of my sheet metal scraps. But I have this hood off of the Yukon Denali, and you can see we cut a chunk out of it, cleaned it up, and that's what we used to start filling this piece in. You've also seen on a previous video that we got a new welder, and I am playing around with welding in this thin sheet metal. Now, first timer, I am not a good welder. I hardly welded. I took welding in high school. You've seen on my other videos. Welding thicker steel, easy peasy, no problem. That's okay. Welding this thin stuff does get tricky. And yeah, don't look too close to my welds. However, this is a cool learning experience. It is a non-structural piece, and in the end, we're just looking for something solid that isn't going to rust, that I can paint over and look semi-decent in the engine bay. Now, your eyes are going to be drawn to the engine and all the cool Phi-Tech parts that are on there, and that kind of thing. So not too worried about the welds looking amazing or anything like that. Plus the inner fenders themselves are already, not a pretty piece. They're just going to look a little better when they're painted. So I've started trimming and hacking off excess stuff, because this used to have a piece that came in here to meet with the much smaller radiator. So this used to come all the way in here, and then there was a much smaller radiator in here, but I've chopped all that out in the name of this bigger radiator. So let's get to work. This patch panel went a little smoother because I actually took some time to prep it. I know this from last time too, and I don't know why I didn't do it on that big patch panel, but it is important to prep your metal, get your piece fitting really, really good, and it'll weld in a lot nicer. So I just got to clean that up a bit and then do the rest of these. And then we will be ready to sand that panel down, just get it scuffed up and cleaned up, and then we will put a coat of paint on it. Once there's a coat of paint on it, then we can move over to this side. Okay, so working on patching in this last piece. I had to give it a bit of a twist and then bend this little edge here. What I've been doing is I've been trying to make these cuts as straight as possible, and then with them being straight, I cut my cardboard template to fit perfectly, and then I cut my metal out of the cardboard template, slightly oversized, like very slightly. Press it in from the other side of my patch, and then I go over it with the marker, and then you'll see as I take this piece off. Take that piece off, if I grind it back right to the edge of this black line, then it'll be a perfect fit back in there. But yeah, thanks to Yes Welder, we've got these patches in now. So this panel is just about all patched in. I even filled in the holes with some weld. So then once I get this piece welded on, all I will need to do is clean this up, sand it down, and paint it. And then we're on to the next one. Okay, so we got the patches all welded in. We cleaned off the rest of the junk, filled in all the holes, and cleaned it up. So next step is we're just gonna lay a coat of the Poppy's Patina black armor on it, and this side will be good to go. And then we'll be on to the next one, which is this panel here.